You are about to watch an environmentally and economically focused local sewer district board meeting in Minnesota, directed by state and federal legislation to preserve the land of 10,000 lakes for all to enjoy. This one tasked in part by citizens to maintain the historic sky blue waters in and surrounding the beautiful city of Alexandria, Minnesota, just as Big Ole found it centuries ago. Hopefully you get some of the reflective characteristics of the water tonight. It's too hard to. How old are you? Can you tell us that? You're 3 years old and you're here at Carla State Park, and you're 5 now? Oh my goodness, you've grown up a lot here, haven't you?
Then I take my shoes off and I feel the water.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. Are you in a tent or are you in a camper here? What are you doing?
I don't know.
Thank you much. Enjoy your day. Hi, I'm Alan Roebke, Inform TV, Box 333, Alexandria, Minnesota. I had the pleasure of filming the board meeting of our sewer district for all you folks like myself. When you flush your toilet or work at a business that you have wastewater, this is where it ends up, and we're going to give you a little bit of a shot of the process where the water flows, but the main thing is to show you the business end of processing all this wastewater out of the city of Alexandria. That's about 15,000 people, plus all the businesses in town, the industrial park, as well as our technical college and large school district 206 here. So it's the way to get some understanding of what happens in our daily life when we think we're just flushing the toilet. There's a lot more involved. Enjoy this meeting. Yes, in my intro that I just did by the sign, I kind of choked because I thought, hey, I'm going to forget some of these important townships that are involved in the sewer district. And I just want to give you, these are the main ones, service area where they do the collection system and treatment services. And I already mentioned the city of Alexandria, but to the east, Alexandria Township, Carlos Township to the north, Hudson Township to the south, Ida Township to the northwest, LeGrand Township to the west, and Lake Mary Township to the southwest, just so you get an idea of the size and scope of this district. A major city like Alexandria, but then major townships that border it that have a lot of lakeshore area and other areas that need treatment rather than a system with a drain field. In very polluted, goes out as clean water. End up with all this volume from cabins around the various lakes, as well as the 15,000 citizens that live in the city of Alexandria, as well as some of the townships that surround us. And that when it's done, it's clean water that is discharged back into Lake Winona, which actually starts and flows through a number of the chain of lakes again. So it's an incredible process.
Is there corrections to the agenda? Here none. Introduction of visitors in attendance. So Al Roebke from Inform TV is here tonight to video this. Okay, looking for approval on the consent agenda. By Charles, do we have a second? By
Second.
Dwayne. Dwayne has his hand up first.
All right.
Any questions on that? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, Finance Office Manager Joe, what do you have?
All right, for bills, some notable payments, if you go to page 11, I highlighted some checks for the larger payments. Check number 2411E, Bremer Bank, that was a $300,000 transfer from our checking into a money market where we can accrue some interest.
Okay.
And so that's good news. And then 49100 is Brown and Caldwell for the water reclamation facility design payment. That's $219,762.02. And if you go to page 15, there's another Brown and Caldwell, check number 49211. It's still for the water reclamation facility design, and that's for $142,936.02. And that's actually for 2 months. They did their April invoicing late. With Seth, check number 49195 and check number 49224. So those amounts were $108,585.90 and $84,692.50 were the main ticket items out of that invoicing. And those were for the ALASR sewer extension, so that came out of the ALASR fund. And then I did have a batch that wouldn't allow me to do an electronic e-check to it or checks to it, so I had to cancel and resubmit. So that's why you see the cancels on the bottom. The system was just not working.
So Joe, check number 49195 to Witsa Smith and Nolte, 108,005 something for sewer extension.
That's the, and then if you see the account number, E05,
Yep.
that means it comes out of ALASR.
Oh,
So those two big ones, so check number 49195 actually has 4
okay.
invoices.
So
So it's
E05,
broken out. But-
E05 is ALSR, E01 is.
Yeah, it comes out of the
Gotcha.
ALASR checking account,
Okay,
but it shows up on this report.
yep, okay,
Same with the amount down below.
yep.
So basically the big, our engineers are going strong for our projects. It is that time of year, so those were the main checks. The rest were pretty much regular bills or supplies for the collections and plant.
Okay,
We finished the fiscal year 2023 audit. It's 100% complete in May. ALASR had 3 meetings in the month of May, 2 ALASR board meetings and an assessment hearing. So I prepared a lot of documents and agendas for that. Prepared a lot of resolutions for ALASR and ALASD board for the sewer extension project. I created some example letters for the ALASR board for the assessment role and connection charges of the project. So those will be wrapped up sometime in August or September when we finalize the assessment role. Working on a project, we're developing strategies and procedures on entering all current and previous sewer projects that the properties in each project have or had, an assessment, a sewer access charge, and or connection charges. And what these amounts are in their specific project. I'm finding out that all projects may have different financial stipulations to them. So if there's a bare lot in that project and the project happened 8-10 years ago, it's more efficient if we finally figure it out and put it in the system. So when somebody comes in for a permit, we can have one place or two places to go and it shows it, instead of having to do a little research. So that is working on that, and then we're going to start with Kronfeld, and then work our way back, and then the ALASR project will be a good start too. And this will allow ease for ALASD staff to calculate the proper SAC and connection charges when the WTEF forms are completed and the fees are paid, so we're not losing money. So the goal is to document all the projects and individual properties in the BDS property management system. Have the information also uploaded to the ALASD GIS system for each individual parcel. This project will take time because it goes back to probably the 80s. But in the end, it will benefit the cost, huh?
Months or years for time?
Oh, I have a feeling it's going to take a while.
Okay.
But in the end, all SACs and connection charges to ALASR or ALASD will be
Super.
accounted for, so nothing will be missed. I think that's all I got.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Joe? Dwayne?
Is there any inflation built into any of that, or
The inflation into,
into the SAC charges?
no, it's a set, so when they did the projects, they're usually at a set rate, and they usually go to ALASR, some are 1,000, some might be 3,000, so that was set during that specific project.
Right.
And then we also have to work with like Ida Township, Hudson Township, and what's the other one? Ida LeGrand. Because Ida and LeGrand have their own. Hudson, no? Hudson.
That's Lake Mary.
LeGrand and Lake Mary have their own. So we have to contact them when we get one to see what theirs is. And then we'll take the check and issue the payment to them. Not LeGrand. Ida and Mary, yeah.
So if the assessment, as an example, was $5,000 20 years ago, it's still $5,000 stuff.
Yep,
Thank you.
yep.
Good question.
Yeah, that'll carry over. Whatever the beginning project cost was, and then they connect, it'll be the same terms.
Any other questions?
Joe's been doing a great job on managing some of our ALASR work that we've had, and we've had a lot of it in the past couple months. So thankfully, she's been caught up to speed and has experience in a lot of these different areas. And so huge help for our endeavors there with ALASR extension.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Here's the updated information for 2023. The area covered is 105 square miles, including water bodies. Now, if you take that 105 square miles and use the copyright Roebke 640 rule, you could go to exit 103 and head for Fargo-Moorhead and keep putting a square mile of the sewer district at every mile marker all the way to the Red River and beyond. You could drive, and off to your right to a half mile and off to your left for a half mile, you'd be driving theoretically in the center of the sewer district, and you would actually cross the Red River and go into the city limits of Fargo for about 2 miles, just to give you an idea of the square mile area that the sewer district covers. And yes, there's not lines in all of that, but that is the square mile area. The population served is over 26,500 people now, and before, when I talked about Alexandria at 15,000, it'll give you an idea of the surrounding townships. There's still significant population of these 6 or 7 townships that surround the city of Alexandria, and also are major players in the sewer district. They have 10,644 accounts now. The sanitary sewer gravity flow lines that they maintain are 236 miles, and that means they lay on grade, so they flow themselves. They also have force flow mains that they maintain of 64 miles. Those are under pressure. And they have lift stations of 172, residential grinders of 111, manholes to inspect the sewer district, lines 4,864. The plant flow design at its present stage is 4,500,000 gallons per day. And I think, if I remember right, they're discharging about 3.2 million gallons per day of clean water back into Lake Winona that goes back to the chain of lakes and so on.
Plant Superintendent Troy, what do you have?
All right, we submitted our annual wet test and the results came back as passing. We deployed a Wonderware Aviva application update for our SCADA system. Finished hauling biosolids and spreading in biosolids for the spring application, so that's completed for the year. We helped prepare the chiller pad and pour the concrete for the contractor that was here for that. And the new chillers have arrived. They've been plumbed, wired, and we actually did start up on Monday. So the new chillers are up and running.
And Joey's got a couple slides that we can take a look at the new chiller installation. Once she gets it, it locks up once in a while. There it is.
There we go. So you can see that we had to get a crane on site to lift those off the truck and set them in place.
Okay.
And again, these chillers are, sorry, but these chillers are to keep our aerobic digester temperatures in the right range for the microorganisms. So inherently, when they're doing their job, they're creating their own heat. Plus, we're pumping in warm air. Plus, with the ambient air and the covers, they just start to get too hot. So you have a mesophilic temperature range that these bacteria need to be in. And if you don't chill this process down, you could lead to the microorganisms just not being happy, and then we start getting foaming and you're not getting the adequate treatment. That's why we wanted to get these chillers in early in the season before we really start hitting these hot days. So Troy and staff did a really nice job in helping and getting these, the pad prepped and all of that and getting these all plumbed in. And we also didn't have to get temporary units in. And that was due to the cool temps this spring, but also just the timing and the work that we put in. So.
Yeah, so we were able to save a significant amount of money by not having to get a temporary unit.
So do we really only use them during the summer, or they?
Yeah.
We don't use them during the winter then?
No, in the winter they are not needed in the winter time.
Okay.
We also got the boat ready, and we're undertaking the annual lake sampling is going underway now. We dismantled the old chiller, brought it to the recycling center in Glenwood. So we were able to recoup some money back out of that old unit, which was nice.
Okay.
We completed some repairs on the sprinkler lines. We completed effluent sample line cleaning from the outfall. Summit Fire Protection completed the annual fire extinguisher inspections, which is due once a year. We replaced a PLC and an aeration blower, which had a failure. We replaced it. And then we're always doing general maintenance, cleaning along here the same year. So.
Okay.
That's it.
Anybody have any questions for Troy? Okay, collection systems, Superintendent Brad.
Okay. We had Olson Chain and Cable Company perform the OSHA required inspection on the shop overhead crane. And then we've got a couple of pictures. And for the next one, the collection crew, tradesman construction, Service Hydrovac and Allied Electric work together to raise the wet wells to ground level at 6 and 51. So I think one of them was about 18 inches and the other was about 3 feet. So there's a hole, you drive up and then you gotta walk down a hill or stumble over some landscape block that we had done over the years. And so now they're fixed up nice and they'll be at drive-up level and did some other improvements there too. So it's a nice improvement. And tradesman construction completed driveway repairs at 16 and 43. There's some more pictures that those will just be gravel for now. And tradesman construction also completed site improvements at lift station 100 and 101. That's just prepping for paving. They're up on Ida and Leaf Valley Township, and that will be coming up when they do some paving up in their area. And collection crew had training with Dave from Ziegler Cat on the new generator operations and functions, what that looks like. And so we got to learn how those new generators are going to operate. So besides in automatic, tradesman construction repaired a broken cleanout stub at 8124 State Highway 114, Lake Mary Township, and this was identified by our televising. So there's another reason, you know, we're always chasing water or chasing something. So that helped identify that. Lift station 39 replaced one discharge flange. Lift station 46 replaced a discharge flange and an impeller. Lift station 110 replaced one impeller, and LGS 18 replaced one float. And then to finish up, collection crew completed 661 locates, 15 service connection inspections, 39 lift station annual inspections, 160 line segment, root cut and jet, televised 40 lines, and backed and flushed 62 major lift stations.
Okay. Anyone any questions for Brad?
Yeah, I'm curious on the impellers when we replace them. Do you identify where during the inspections? Is that when we decide to replace them?
Usually.
Okay.
The other one would be you could get called out there and they're plugged.
Okay.
And then that, you get to make a gap and then you get debris collecting in there. And so now it overloaded and now the guy says, oh, wait a minute, this is pretty worn. We better.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Brad?
Yeah, Brad, is 661 locates in a month, is that a lot?
That's a lot.
Is that atypical in this time of the year?
Summer.
It is, wow.
Yep, and then sometimes our televising person helps or, you know, it is a lot.
Yeah, no kidding.